This is just an AMZN for Thursday, July 1st, 2021. So hopefully I've got the network issues resolved and we don't need any more abrupt drops of the video. So sorry about that with yesterday's video, but I didn't want to record it yet and again a third time. So I just uploaded the second one, which was strange to kind of redo like 15 minutes of talking like I do like this off the cuff. So anyway, looking at today, we broke down or continued down and then had a really nice morning star reversal here and went right back up. And so we really just stayed below the 21. And then once we got above it, we pretty much stayed above it. So it was that kind of like reversal sort of day, even though the candle ended up looking like a high wave candle. So the first thing, like if we back it up on the option we've been looking at all week, it's like we started out the day way down here. We broke down through the $12 and $11 price at the end of the day yesterday. So it's like, okay, this probably isn't working anymore. But what it did do today is it set up a new resistance. So old support, old place of buying, stopped working when it hit the stop here. And now we're opening down here. We're retesting this. This was telling us, oh, maybe instead of buying here, because we shouldn't be buying at 12 if we've already been down below 10 to start the day. It's probably not going to have a huge rally, but don't be buying at 12 after this. Just like this, don't be buying at 15 after it just shot up from about 12. Same thing. So this was the biggest signal to me. This is going to roll over. Like this is the new resistance. So we take that thinking into what the chart ended up doing. So again, back it up. We're rolling over here. We've gap down. We've run up. We've got a high wave candle. We've got a slightly lower high, lower low. We've got a lower, higher high, higher low. But this is more of like a stair step. These three. What's going to happen next? Okay, big bearish candle. Made a higher high. Looked like some bulls were getting in and just totally broke down. At this point, it's like, okay, we're going bearish. This is the confirmation candle. Can we get in on some sort of a retest? What can we do here? And so let's wait for a bullish candle to come back up to the 21, see if we get something like that. No, we can do it down. But at one point, this was a little more of a bullish candle. So it almost tagged the 21. So I'm not usually trading this early in the day. I'm trying to not even look at the market someday because I'm just not good at trading those options or haven't really put the work in to get better at it. So this is what happened on the call. Let's fast forward so we see the whole thing. We just continued on lower. We had that reversal thing here, bounced a little bit, but this option, the only thing it really helped us do is see, okay, this is rolling over. Like this is the place to be looking at a put. So if we switch back over to the put, we've been looking at all week, and we'll back this up to about here. So what is that? 850. Okay. So at this point, these lows over here are really close to the lows from yesterday. They're a little bit lower. I totally agree. They're a little bit lower. I know somebody's thinking that. But if we were getting the signal for the call saying this is going to roll over here, and we were getting a little bit of this double bottom shape here right out the gate. This was right near open 820, 835. Getting a double bottom shape. It does get a little bit oversold here. I really would want to see it kind of come down again. I don't think we really got it that clean. Yeah, it does do it here, but at that point, it's already bouncing. It's already moved up. I don't think anybody would have been buying this low price off of yesterday's lows, not on this option. But again, this is just helping us frame what's happening on the day. We can still be looking for any sort of pullback. So it came down and put in a similar low here at like 1350. So you could have been looking at that, or you see, okay, it's actually holding, it's continuing to move there. What's another option we can go look at? So what ended up happening here is it ended up bouncing. So the put bounced, so it continued rolling down. The put ran up, and where did it stop? Right here. And if you look to the left, that is where we opened up yesterday. So this high is where we ran up to. Really good place to have a target, or maybe even front run that a little bit to get out of something at like 17. So like you're getting out of it here, maybe not holding out all the way to this. But this framework, like if you were looking to get in around 13, it didn't ever come back there, and get out around 17, that's a 4-hour move on this option. It didn't work on this option, but that's still what we're looking for on a Thursday, to get that 4-hour move. So getting in at like 13, stop at 12, and a target of 17. That's the setup. Now we can go take that to an option that probably has a little more volume. I was looking just before this to see maybe we can get something next week. And this option had a little more volume. I guess a lot more volume, better volume. Put in a really nice hammer here. I always like the 10 by 9 price. So getting in at 10, you're waiting for this hammer to actually close. Or not close, I'm sorry. You're waiting for this, what was I going to say? 10 by 9. I forgot what I was going to say here. You're just looking for the 10 by 9 price. The hammer's forming as this is going. So you could set it up as this is pulling back, looking for it to hold the $9 low, looking for that to hold from yesterday's lows as well. And so you've got a really good setup here with a hammer and then the confirmation, or not the confirmation, but the correlation with what's happening with the call rolling over and the put, having some sort of um, reversal signal here, reversal candle. So the challenge with this was if you got in 10 by 9, it would have worked if you're buying on this candle, but you would have had to hold all the way to 14 over here. So would you have done that? And then why 14? Well, here's another really big candle up here. It opened around 14. That's a good target. It just didn't fill here, or there was no order open. It could have filled here. We just don't know. I wasn't trading it that way. So anyway, but that's kind of, let's zoom out and look at this option in relation to the rest of the other things we're looking at on the day. And the one other thing I'll point out, so I'll fast forward this back to today. So the one other thing I want to point out is we didn't really get the overbought up here. You can see with the RSI, I can't zoom. So you have a little bit of a double top, but it's nowhere near overbought on the RSI. It does do a little bit more of kind of like a retest here, but it's already like this is a stair step, breaking down, retesting, inverted hammer. This is a great place to get in bearish. It's touched the 21, it's rolling over. That's at 9:35, a little early for me still. And 9:35, yep, that's that candle. That's the reversal candle. That's the same place. This is retesting this stair step. So all of that lines up, but it's not really showing me the same thing with the RSI. This looked overbought, like for the good, 2.5 hours of the day, first 2.5 hours of the day, it looks overbought. But this looking overbought on the call and this looking overbought on the stock, but it continuing making lower lows, lower highs, and continuing down below the 21. And like, this doesn't look right. It doesn't fit what I want to see with really the shape showing up, the double bottom shape, and then kind of the retest. You kind of got it here, but you don't get the follow through. So you could have been buying this to go bullish. You would have been stopped out, and that's all right. That'll happen. But I didn't. Just watching this going lower, lower, low. It just didn't have the right feel. Looking at it like this. I don't think I was even looking at this earlier. I was in some meetings earlier today, so. But looking at it later, seeing the reversal, it's like, oh, this, even through here, this, starts to show the double bottom here and then dips down one more time. Sorry, I'm pointing at this and I'm zoomed out again. So this is the shape. It's a kind of a double bottom. Then you get another dip and then it goes. And so where is this actually happening? This is that candle. I could draw it straight. So you could be buying off of that candle after this kind of a signal. At least that's what I like to see. But which option? Then you're looking at a call. So are we looking at the 3600? Probably not, because it doesn't have the shape here. We have our levels way up here or way down here. I don't think we're going to get a huge move to rally from like 7 all the way up to 11. I don't think it's going to do that. So again, let's look at something a little closer. Let's look at this week. Let's look at maybe 3,500 and see how that's moving. So we zoom in here. What kind of shape are we seeing around that same time? So you have kind of some similar double bottoming, a little more of a dip back down. So that would have been this candle. That's 12:05. What time was this? 12:10. Okay, so you're off by 5 minutes. That's still really, no, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was this one. So this is the lower of the pullback. It's just hard to see because this looks straight, but there is another point on the RSI right here. It would have been the 1205 candle. The only thing I'd say against that is it's a bullish candle. So if you're waiting for this to close and it closes bullish, you're going to give up a little bit of premium on the 1205 candle on the call because it's going in the direction. So it's adding, it should be adding. So the 1205 candle, yeah, the 1205 candle was going up. If you bought this at the close, you would have had a better opportunity to buy on the next bearish candle, which you're not guaranteed to get. But if you bought on this candle, then you're getting in, let's even just say you got it at 9. You bought this at 9, stop down at 8. Don't get stopped down on the next one here. It does start to go bullish, or not bullish. The RSI starts to improve here. And then you're looking for what's a target. So from 9, our target would be 13. I don't see much happening at 13 other than a retest of this low. There's a little bit of a stair step here, just going sideways, but I'm thinking this is the last pivot. That would have been at like 12, or not even 12, like 1150. That is only a 2.5 hour move. So based on that, I didn't really think this was a good setup, because even if it gets back up to 1250 or to 1150, let's see, did it do it here? No. 1150. Yep, got there here. That's 2.5 hours, but you're getting out, and it's not a 4-hour target on a Thursday, which is what I usually look for. So still would have been a great trade. Great setup with what the RSI is doing. You're taking the lessons from the monthly expiration, applying it to next week's candles, seeing more volume for next week's candles. The only other thing you could, well, not the only, but the other thing I was going to point out you could do is you could go look at this week's expiration, which is traditionally what I've been doing on this channel, and I'm trying to bring it in and looking at things a lot closer. So if we look at this week, what are we doing here? That didn't really do much. We got to go a little closer. So 34.25 maybe. I think this might be too expensive. Maybe not. So what time was that? 12:05, 12:10, made a lower low. Really wish I could see that price. I guess I can. There you go. Look at that. 10 by 9 would have worked. My favorite setup. Buying at 10. Oops. Hang on. Let's do that. Okay. So buying at 10. So you're buying on this candle. This one didn't quite pull back. So buying at 10, stop at 9, and target of 14. It made it there in minutes. Well, not minutes, but 15, 20, I guess 20 minutes, right? 14. And then I'm looking at this thinking, well, here's the last pivot. That's up at 17. I wonder if I could, instead of having my target at 14, could I get my stop at 14? And if you had taken your target off and then after this, but you're stopped at 14, you're out. You're stopped out or trailed out for probably 4 or 3 hours or something like that. This looks like it pulled back pretty quick. If you waited for after this pivot and it got back up, I think you still would have been trailed out at 4R here, but it did end up making up to 18, which is what I like to go for. After 4, I really like to go for 8. So that would have been a really good setup. So let's do the same thing for tomorrow's expiration. And probably look at 3,400, maybe. So after we, hang on, let's zoom out again. So over here, we get this candle, we go sideways, we retest, it was the 935 price. So 935, this is like buying probably, I was going to say 450. No, 450 wouldn't work because this candle's too big. This candle's a little too big. This candle's just the right size. So let's say 450 by 350 now, because that wouldn't have been within that range. Maybe 4 by 3. I think you would have had to just buy 4 by 3 and hope to get filled, and it would have worked on this candle. So that's buying at 4, stop at 3, target at 8, and that would have worked here. and then it would have worked again on this retest of the 21 and roll over. You are getting the overbought in this range. That would have been, there's no other double topping with the RSI, but if you were going off of this level and the level confluence over here to roll over, you're getting the kind of overbought here. That would have been buying at 6, stop at 5. That, let's see, it almost doesn't work because this candle is a little bit below 5. I think you could have waited, if you waited till this actually made finished making this peak, which you didn't know was a peak, but if you bought at the close of this candle, you're buying at 6, you're filled on this candle at 6, stop at 5, and that would have worked. And that would have gone from 6 up to 10 pretty quickly. And then you're out. And so you got a move from, what was it, 4? Move from 4 to 8, a move from 6 to 10. And then once this pattern comes in, it reverses, then you're getting over to a call, and you're playing the call here, going from 10 to 14. So that's 3 different ways, and then the fourth one would have been as this like bounces and it pulls back again, seeing if you can do it again. So 3 or 4 different times where you could have waited for it to interact with the 21, looking for the oversold, overbought RSI, playing around with the options, seeing what you can do, but taking the signals off of July monthly and bringing it back in to what's happening next week's expiration, be a little more conservative, this week's expiration if you want to be a little more aggressive. And yeah, that's how it would have worked. And that's on a high wave candle day where we didn't really end up going anywhere. The open and the close were what? The open and the close were $2-3 apart from each other. So obviously not much of a move. High wave candle, pressure's building. We're going sideways here. We did that through all of like this with some smaller candles. Are we getting ready to go sideways a little bit more? We waited till the 21 was really right in here. So we haven't quite touched the 21. I kind of feel like we're going to. But the other thing we have here is kind of these 2 purple lines coming together. I wonder if we could dip down like this, look like we're rolling over, take out some of these bull candles, and all we'll do is really retest like this breakout candle or retest like these old highs through here. And so we come down a little bit past and then we bounce. Like 3,300 could be a good place to be loading up some more and bounce if we're going to bounce, or we could just continue to roll over. We didn't quite touch this high. This is the all-time high. But back in the daily, we've got, you know what? We haven't looked at look at the monthly. So we've gotten up to this range, this resistance zone up here. So we could come all the way back down to the support zone, which would be like 29.50 through here. Let's go look at the monthly because that just happened. Monthly just closed out. So that is a really interesting candle. We made a slightly higher high and a higher low. Interesting. We're getting back into overbought. No, we're not. We need to wait all month before we decide that. Yeah, this just looks like more sideways is going to happen. Be really interesting if this holds, if this line holds. If we can dip down some, and then we end up bouncing. We've ticked below it a little bit with some of these lows. I don't know if we'll take it out. If we do take that out, I think we could come back definitely to the 29.50 that I talked about down here. You know what? That'd be a really good target. Look at that. The 21 is right there. That's on the monthly. And we bounced off of it here, and then we haven't seen it since. And that was March of last year. If we were to make a big candle back down, I mean, it could take, July and August to come back down, and that would come, then the 21 would, I think, get back up over to like 29.50, like we just talked about. I could see that happening in the next couple months to come back down here and then bounce again. And if we bounce like a hammer like this, or bounce like a hammer like this off the 21 or off of this same price, I think that would be a really good confluence to do that. Even if we did it in September, we've got this line coming down, but I guess we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Let's see if anything's happening on the weekly. We've got, so the weekly is interesting because we had the squeeze fire, and this on the weekly just looks like a really nice pennant here. And obviously this week hasn't closed, it'll close tomorrow. But this totally looks like it could just run bullish. Have we had some of these, 2 bull candles looking like they're breaking out, then sideways, kind of have these two, then sideways, and then new all-time high, and then lower. So we've done that. Let's see if we've done something else like that. 2 bull candles, sideways, pull back. That happened there. This is going back a long ways, but it's weekly, so we can. I'm just looking at candles. I haven't done this prior to this video, so you guys get to see how I kind of go through methodically, and I'm just looking to match up candles. Like I can zoom way out, but it's harder to see. But we're looking for something that broke out, bullish candles breaking out into a kind of a pennant. And I don't see, I'll have to look through it some more to see, really how it goes. But had a little bit of it here, like this was breaking out sideways. I think that's probably the best comparison here, just because we went sideways for so long. This wasn't even sideways for that long comparatively. So anyway, we'll keep diving into these longer time frames. They help just kind of frame the overall picture. But again, we've got the 21 right through here. So if we come down there, we'll see if we hold it. If we hold it, great. If not, I think we come back down to this low, to like 29 40s, 29 50s. Could have a nice bounce off of 3,000, and just, I mean, we could do this for many more months, many more weeks, bouncing between 3,000 and 3,500 and 3,000, 3,500. Like it's been doing that. So if we knew it was going to do that, we could have bought here and sold there, and then shorted here and bought here right off. This was great, buying off the 21. Excuse me, buying off the 21 on a weekly there, and then selling at 3,500, and then just rinse and repeat. So anyway, all right, I've talked off the cuff enough. The video has still been recording, so you get the whole thing. Hope this helps. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.